Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we are going to install the Tusk D Flex Pro. As you can see, they're already on the bike, but we're going to do an install unboxing, show you everything. We also upgraded the grips to the Pro Taper pillow top. Pretty decent install. Had some malfunctions with the GoPro. Insert that up there somewhere. But yeah, let's jump into the video and see what we think. So here's what's going to come in the box. You're going to get your hand guards with the mounting hardware, your wraparound. These are aluminum, very well powder coated. Your bar inserts there so you can tighten those down. If you are running factory levers, sometimes you'll need a spacer kit. Tusk provides that for you. And then of course the bar mounts as well. So all the hardware, everything you need to make this installation. So one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade the grips to the Pro Taper pillow top grips just because they do take out some vibration and they're super comfortable. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just cut these factory grips off. I am not going to reuse them. I did pull them off before when I changed the bars. They will come off, no big deal, but just to make things go a little quicker, I'm going to just nip these off here with a razor knife. Try not to cut my fingers, but we'll just peel this off and we'll do the same thing on the other side with the throttle, just being aware that there's a plastic tube on the throttle side, so we don't want to get in too deep and damage that, but we'll just knock them off. All right, so we're working on the throttle side. You can see I didn't want to damage that throttle tube, so I just kind of tearing off the last bit there, double checking the throttle. Everything's good, so we're going to move on to the next step here. Now let's move on to these mirrors. So we're going to peel back the rubber grommet. I'm taking a 14mm wrench, and I just remembered that they are righty-loosey, lefty-tighty, so we'll get that mirror spun off, and then we're going to also go ahead and remove the mount down here at the bottom. So go ahead and get it taken off, and this one is lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. So we'll repeat this process on the other side of the handlebars and get both these mirrors off. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one side at a time. So right now we're just going to work strictly on, I guess I dropped that bracket, the clutch side. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get these hand guards off. We're also loosening, so this one we have to take off the clutch perch. So these are two 8mm bolts that's going into the bracket here. So we'll get these taken off, and then we'll go ahead and remove the perch. That way we can access the factory hand guards, because we're gonna have to take those off. There's also a bracket there on the top side, and I believe we need a 10mm on the bottom side to actually, remove the bottom bolt from that clutch lever, because the factory hand guards basically bolt to that bottom perch with this bracket right here. So we'll go ahead and get that removed, and then I'll probably go ahead and just slip the hand guard on. The grip on this side, just to kind of get it knocked out of the way and get it trimmed down. So right here we're going to take a 5mm hex key. That's the top bolt here in the handguard, and then at the bottom there's a 10mm. That's on the bottom side of the clutch perch. So we'll go ahead and knock that off, and then it's a little tricky, but we'll have to move this bracket around to pull the factory handguard off. So let's take a look at these Pro Taper pillow top grips. As you can see, one side has a larger hole or inside diameter than the other, and they're also denoted left and right. So the one that goes on the right obviously goes on the throttle side, and the one with the larger hole, which is the right grip, goes on to the throttle side as well. So now I'm just kind of measuring these up to see how much I'm going to have to trim off So I can, with these hand guards, you're going to have to, have the ends of the bars exposed, especially on the throttle side. So I got the bar ends trimmed. I feel pretty good about, my length on that. I probably could have went a little bit longer on it. As you'll see here, as I get these installed, I'm using some alcohol, just gonna kind of lube that up and dump way too much on top of the bar. Probably would have been nice to use a mist bottle, but hey, that's what I had, that's what I'm gonna use. So we'll go ahead and jam the bar or the grip on. It's still going a little bit tough, but once you kind of break over that inertia point and get some of the alcohol on the inside of the grip, it slides around real easy. So what I'm doing now, just kind of getting those oriented how I want those with the Pro Taper logo up. So it just looks consistent across both sides of the bike. So now I'm adjusting it. I got about 1/8 of an inch of gap from the bar end. I would have rather had those a little bit flush, so next time I do this, I'm gonna cut the grips a little bit longer. But hey, I can live with that. Looks good, these grips feel great in the hand. So once that alcohol dries, these grips should be set pretty snug on the bar. They're not rotating around. Now that I've had them on a couple days, they're nice and snug. Very happy with them. All right, so to assemble the hand guards onto your bars, the first thing we need to do is go ahead and get these bar inserts so that they will go inside the bar, and then the screw on the outside actually goes into the hand guard. So what I'm doing now is I'm gonna go ahead and first I'm gonna remove this rubber collar because when I put these in my bar, basically they fit pretty snug as is right there. And you can see the rubber collar doesn't fit. So this might be for a bar that's not, doesn't have as much of an ID wall thickness as the bars that I have right now. So what we're gonna do is first place the bolt in, the ID sleeve, and then you can see on this threaded taper that there is a tang that slides inside the bar insert. So we'll go ahead and get that snugged up, not so much that we're spreading the bar insert itself. We want it to still slide inside the bar. So we'll go ahead and slide that in right now. We're gonna leave it loose because we're gonna adjust the bracket, the mounting bracket, and get all that squared up before we snug it down. So I just went ahead and removed the factory zip ties off the bars there. And then I realized, since I'm using fat bars, that I had some pretty heavy duty zip ties at the bottom part of the bar, and you can't pull them off by hand. So I got to run and grab some snips and get those cut off. So we'll do that right now. So at this point in the process, you're going to get your brackets that mount to your handlebars that thread into the other side of the handguard. And really there's nothing in the instructions going to tell you the right way or the wrong way to do this. So what I've done here is I've kind of put those on the bar and routed my cabling. At this time it was underneath, and then I pulled them back off and put my cabling on the top, which seemed to work a lot better. But you're just kind of basically getting everything loose fit at this point because you're going to have to adjust the hand guards up or down, how you want to orient those on your bike. And there's no wrong way, there's no right way. I'm sure there's tons of opinions, but just get them set the way you want. If you want them up high, you want them down low. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's your bike. You do it how you want. But so now I just kind of got everything loose fit, the front of the handguard, and now I'm putting the top clamp onto the bracket. So again, I'm just loose fitting everything, and then I'll start tightening things down in sequence once I get those adjusted to how I want them. So now I'm happy with, how I got the handguard fit on the handlebars. So the only thing left next to do is go ahead and put the actual handguards on themselves, and they mount real quick with 3 screws. So we'll go ahead and put those on right now. All right, so the handguards, just slide those on. They are slotted, so you really can't mess up the up or down. And then you just line the screw holes up with the corresponding screw holes on the handguard, and then just snug those up. Now, I always use a little bit of blue Loctite just to keep things in check without backing out. But as you can see, the fit and finish is pretty good. They line up great, and I didn't have any issues getting them installed. So again, just 3 screws. You can see a little bit of dab of blue Loctite on there just to keep things in check. But very simple install. So this wraps up the clutch side. So we're going to take a look at the clutch side's done. So these are completely installed, look great, and we'll just do a little comparison of the factory handguard here on the throttle side. As you can see, much larger, much more protection if you do have a fall over. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to go ahead and remove the 2 screws that clamp the throttle tube and the switches to the handlebars. So what I'm going to try to do here is turn my steering all the way to the right side or the throttle side of the bike, and I can slide that throttle tube out far enough where I think I can get that trimmed with the Dremel without having to remove it and undo the cabling and things like that. So I'm going to give this a shot. So I'm going to go ahead and get this taken apart, and we'll slide the throttle tube out and see how much room we actually have to make the cut that we need to expose the bar end for our handguards. All right, so here's a pro tip on how I determined how much my throttle tube I needed to cut. I just took a flashlight here, and with that being white plastic, you can see the end of your bar very easily, so you know exactly how much to cut to make that flush. So I was able to slide the throttle tube out enough to make my cuts here with a Dremel. So once we got everything cut off, I'm just going to clean up the ends with a little bit of emery cloth, and hopefully I didn't cut that too short, but we'll find out here pretty quick. So I've already removed the handguard on the throttle side, so I'm just go ahead and reinstall everything. So we're going to put everything back on the bar, and this is also a good time. As you can see there, I've got my throttle tube, my hand grip, and everything pretty much flush. But it's always a good idea, just keep double checking yourself, making sure that that throttle spins freely and it snaps back. Do it several times, make sure you got it right, because as you install everything, if it binds up, that's going to be a problem and be unsafe. So do handlebars and guards and grips and all that at your own risk. Just be mindful of that. So now I'm just going to go ahead and get the clutch purse, get it in position that I want. I'm going to go ahead and tighten those down hand tight, get it adjusted, double check that throttle, make sure it's free playing, that it snaps back. Again, can't stress how important that is. So now we are going to repeat the same process we did on the clutch side as far as the handguard itself and the cover. So we'll repeat the same steps we did earlier on the throttle side. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the install. As you can see, I removed some of the Tusk labeling on it. I think it looks better this way, and I just left the little reflector stripes on there. You know, what's a little safety at night? More visibility, the better. But the last thing, go ahead, double check that throttle one more time, make sure it snaps back and it's free. But other than that, guys, if you would, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. All that stuff really helps the channel out, keeps us motivated for more content. But look for more information and more videos on this Honda CRF 300L. But until next time, guys, God bless.